Welcome to Ignite Technology, where we'll create enriching videos and content on technology.
Alright guys, now that we have our web page being connected to the live server, let us quickly delve into the HTML basics and then building your first web page. This is what I have here on my own page, but I would want us to begin from the scratch. And by so doing, I would want you who is watching this to create a folder. You will name that folder my web project or web development, whatever it is you want to name it that is related to this course. So inside that folder, in fact, let me also show you so that while I'm saying it, you are doing it with me. Okay, so so many opened folders here. Okay, so like this is my desktop. Inside on my desktop, I'll right click as I did, right click, new, select folder, name that folder web development. Now inside, I pressed enter to open it. So inside this, I would want you to name another folder by right clicking and then new. Name this folder HTML. Create another folder too. Name it CSS. I hope you are following this step by step. You might also need to create another folder. Name it JavaScript. And then maybe the final one. Let's create a folder. Let's name it image. For proper organization of our work, it is good we have it like this. I think this JavaScript is not named rightly, so let me rename it JavaScript. Even though I named them all of them with small letters or small letter, there's no problem. So, but I want you to know how you can launch this folder or launch this folder inside the VS Code. Exactly. So, right click on it and then say open in terminal. Open in terminal, then type code space dot, then press enter. This will open that folder you created in the VS Code. Now, supposing that this is the environment you want to work with. I already have the environment I'm working with, but I just want to guide you through this part. So you would need to press, as hoping that you've watched the first video, that you didn't skip that part where we were able to link or launch the VS Code on the live server. Right click on it. Let's create our HTML code first. So inside the HTML folder, you see this new file here. Click on it. Then let's save it as first, or let's save it as index, because that's always the first page that you open on the website. Index.html. Index.html. The .html is the file extension name that it comes with that shows it is a HTML file. Now, what does HTML mean? HTML means Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext Markup Language. It is the language that the computer understands. It is the language that our browser understands and interprets it as an application package that is supposed to be on the website. All of that, it forms the basic structure of our website. The HTML forms the basic structure of our website. That's why every other thing is embedded in the HTML. So it is the language that the browser understands. The CSS is built on the HTML. JavaScript as well is built on the HTML. I hope you get the point now. So if you miss this part, you're gonna miss a lot. So it's good you pay attention at this first stage. Remember, the first thing we did in the introductory part is linking our VS Code to make sure it is opened on the live server. To make sure it is opened on the live server. Now I've shown you the first thing you do while opening your or developing your first web page. Okay, create a folder. That folder you're naming it web development. Everything we shall be doing will be inside this folder. I hope you're following now. Everything we shall be doing, both the JavaScript, the CSS, as well as this HTML, will be done inside this folder. Now, I already said what HTML means, and now we are going to focus on the basic structure, on the basic HTML structure, on the basic HTML structure. Remember, having created this file like this, you could right click on it. You could right click on the file and say, um, let me say this. Once you create this document structure, now creating this document structure is for you to press Shift, hold one. If you're using Windows, Shift one, that is this exclamation mark. Once you get this exclamation mark, with VS Code, we have the privilege of autocomplete. So VS Code auto completes our code for us. You could as well write this code inside any text editor. You could even use Notepad to write it. You can as well use Microsoft Word to write it, as well as you save it with this file extension name .html. .html. Once you save it that way, you can launch it on your web page. All right, and just make sure you write the correct things. If you don't get it correctly, it may not give you what you want. So once you press this shift exclamation mark or you want shift one or exclamation mark, press tab or enter, you could see it, a series of code appears because we are working on VS Code. We are working on VS Code. So here we have the document type, the doc type on the top, which is the first thing that shows that we are working on a, it defines the document type that we're working on, which is HTML. And now the HTML itself is the root element that contains all HTML content, all HTML content. Now, after the HTML, now, and that thing I need to mention is this, because since I'm rushing through this course, let's take it bit by bit. Just trying to carry everybody along. So pay attention, whether, as I said earlier, that you are totally new in coding or you've already had some experience, just pay up attention. This course is designed for you. We are not rushing it. Just take your time. You can as well ask questions by using the comment section so that we can elucidate some parts that are not made clear here for you. All right. So the doc type defines the type of document, which is the HTML. The HTML itself it holds all the HTML content. It is the root element. Now the head tag, it holds meta information such as page title, as you can see it here, as well as meta tags. This meta sets the viewport for the device and it sets it at the initial scale of 1.0. Now, we do have the head tag and then the body tag in the HTML. You must have been hearing me talking about tags, 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 tags. Yes, everything about HTML is all about tags. Everything is all about tags, okay? When I mean tags, I mean T-A-G-S, T-A-G-S. So these tags, all right? Tags are these things you see inside the less than sign and greater than sign. Less than sign, greater than sign. Whatever you have inside it is the tag. And in HTML, we have two types of tag. We have the tags that come with opening and closing tags. For instance, this head has an opening tag here and a closing tag. The closing tag is usually slanted. The closing tag is usually, it has this slant or backslash before the name. Now we go inside the body. The body tag, it has its own opening tag and then the closing tag. The HTML tag, opening tag, and closing tag. Another tag we must come across, which both of them, these two tags I'm going to mention now, they are the generic tags that we have in HTML. Generic tags, div, which just means divider. So once I type that div, it opens, it gives me the opening tag and the closing tag, the opening tag and the closing tag. So whatever I type inside it will be shown when I open this with live server. When I open this with my live server. Remember, I already said earlier, should you not have the opportunity of that, maybe you could not download the live server and you were unable to load these codes on the live server, just press Shift Alternate C on your Windows if you're using Windows, okay, or right click on the name here, copy path, and then load it on your browser. You will see these things display on the browser. Meanwhile, the page I'm working on is this. So let me quickly continue with that. Let me continue with that. Okay, so we have this here. So that I'll be making all my explanations inside this place. I used the other one to show you how you can open the folder, open the VS Code from the folder you created. Opening the VS Code from the folder you created. If you don't want to open it that way, you create the folder and save it. You can as well come to this place, file, and then you see open folder. You will now open the folder you created. Once you open it, it replaces the one once I open the other folder, it will replace this one I have here. But I don't want to replace it. So I'm now showing you the two ways you could open a folder that you created. And it is pertinent to create that folder and have your files inside a folder. Okay, so you either open the VS Code from the folder or open your VS Code and then get the folder by going through File, Open Folder, or press Ctrl plus K, Ctrl plus O. All right. So going back to the generic tags I was talking about. So I was telling you about divs. So I write div and I see it appear like this. Just press enter and then the VS Code completes it for you. Remember, the live server is going to change as you can see it here. The live server is going to change to see what I wrote here now. Okay, so supposing I write inside this here is my first web page. In that case, this is expected to appear on the web page. Okay. Since there's a crashing. Okay, let me reopen this again on the live server. So open with live server. I would still like to copy this back to this place. Very good. So here is my first web page. The color is red because I already styled it here. Let me remove this color red. So that you will see its default color. Its default color. I also aligned it center. So let me remove all these things so that you see them appear as they are before we begin to style it using CSS. What I did then was inline styling. Inline styling. Okay, here what I have now is introduction to web development. Here is my first web page. Here is my first web page. Now this div you are seeing here, I already mentioned it before. It's an example of a generic tag. It means divider. When you inspect a website, when I say inspect a website, what do I mean? Now this is like a website. You right click on it and you see inspect. When you inspect it, you would see what they use in writing their codes. When you come here, you see div. So there are most website when you go, you will see them writing div. All right. There's also other tags. There are also other tags. Okay. So let's quickly get at it. So I come here. Let me use span. Span is another generic tag. Span is another generic tag. I am a tech enthusiast. All right. You see it appear there. Very good. I am a tech enthusiast. Even without saving it, it just appeared because I have loaded this page with live server. I have loaded this page with live server. Let me hope I'm not missing anything out. Remember, as a recap, this is the HTML basic structure. From this point, the HTML basic structure must have this document type, the declaration document type. It must have this root element HTML, and it must have a head and a body. Remember, these are opening tags that come with their closing tags respectively. Then the ones that do not have the closing tags, for instance, this first one you're seeing here, it does not have a closing tag. This declaration, it does not have a closing tag. There are also other ones like this meta, it does not have a closing tag. Another one we are going to meet in the course of this work is IMG. IMG is the tag that is used to insert image on our web page. To insert image. Remember when I told you to create these folders? And when I talk about them, you're seeing all of them. This is CSS folder, there's nothing inside it. This is HTML folder, there's nothing inside it. And this is image. I have things inside this image. I have folders inside this image. So I could decide to insert one of these images inside this place. How do I do it? Okay, just dot. Why am I using this dot? To locate the URL. URL means Uniform Resource Locator. These are some of the things you'll be hearing when we talk about HTML. I already talked about HTML means Hypertext Markup Language. URL means Uniform Resource Locator. Then we have also SEO, Search Engine Optimization. Okay, what is search engine? Search engine is like this place where you search for the website, where you can search, where you search. So URL is the name of the website, the name www dot whatever. So you could also decide the URL you give to the website you are about coding now. All right. So I'm going to locate where this image is. Since it is not in the same directory of this file, this index.html, what I'm going to do is to say, if it is in the same directory, what I just need to press slash. It gets me all the stuffs inside the same directory. But since it's not, I'll just press dot slash and then get the image folder. Select any of these images. It will just appear. I could decide to change it. Select another image. One thing here. You see it appear here. And images, they tend to appear as they are until you resize them. Until you resize them. Until you resize them. That will be done with the help of CSS. CSS means cascading style sheet. All right. Having talked about this basic HTML structure, I would want us to focus in the next video tutorial on what you know as typography. Typography. I want you, before even watching that video, make a research to know what does typography talk about, okay? What do you think you're going to gain by watching that video when you hear the word typography? What am I talking about? I said typography. I'm going to write it out so that you can see it. Okay, let me write it out here before the first web page. Typography. Let me use H4. Typography. this is what I'm talking about. You could see it appear here. All right. Thank you for your audience. As I enjoy you, as I encourage you to watch the next video. Okay.